My brother's wife Mary expounded her theory to me as if it were a matter of course. Nancy is poor, uneducated, and a dropout. She's a bad influence, a junior high school dropout, and a bad person. That's why I don't want her to date my son. That's all. Today my brother's wife's perception will be turned upside down. It's my father's turn. Don't you know my daughter is? I'm Nancy. I'm 30 years old. When I was in junior high school, I was a delinquent. I rebelled against everything in the world, not just during my rebellious phase. I even rebelled against the delinquent group, so I didn't take the high school entrance exam and started working right after graduating from junior high school. Now I'm a single mother raising a 6th grade daughter. I became pregnant with my daughter when I was 18 years old. Her father is not around. The man who was supposed to be my daughter's father disappeared as soon as he found out I was pregnant. His job and address were all lies. He was a real scumbag. After I started raising my daughter, I finally regained myself. I learned to accept people's worries and advice. Honestly, there are many regrets and reflections, but I am living happily with my parents and daughter at home. I have an older brother. My 5-year-old brother is serious and excellent. Unlike me 2 years ago, he opened his own tax accounting office. Even when I was a rebellious daughter, he was the only one who treated me kindly. My brother has a wife and a 4-year-old son. This year my daughter loves her nephew very much. The nephew also likes my daughter very much, and they play together all day. When my brother's family comes home this summer, too, my brother's family will return for 3 nights and 4 days. My daughter was delighted to hear that she finished her summer homework early to play with her nephew and is looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it too, but honestly, I'm not in the mood for it. The reason is Mary, my brother's wife. My brother's wife is from a private girls' school from junior high school to high school. She also went to the women's college. After graduation, she studied abroad or helped with housework, and she is a thoroughbred lady who got married through an arranged marriage just before turning 30 years old. To her, a single mother like me who dropped out of junior high school is not desirable. When she is with my brother or parents, she talks normally, but when she is alone with me, she obviously speaks fewer words. This is the reason why I feel heavy-hearted. I intend to get along well with her one day in summer. My brother's family returned as planned. Welcome back, brother. Thank you for coming. I'm home. Oh, Nancy, thank you for your help. Brother and his wife are unloading their luggage from the car. My daughter took her nephew's hand and entered the house, and I helped the two of them while helping with the unloading of luggage. My brother apologized. I'm sorry to come back so soon, but I have to leave only my wife and child behind. What I just got an urgent job a little while ago. I plan to come back when the job is done, but I don't know when that will be. That's tough. Take care. He opened his own business 3 years ago, and it seems that he can't afford to take it easy because his business has just started to pick up momentum. My brother returned to work. After greeting our parents, my brother's wife and I waved our hands at him side by side. Your brother looks like he has a tough job. As soon as my brother's wife couldn't see the car anymore, she quickly entered the entranceway. It seems that she didn't hear my voice at all. That can be true. I talked to her face to face properly. This is what happens as soon as brother leaves. Oh dear, I knew it, but it still shocked me, so I deliberately entered the house a few steps late. When I entered the house, Mary's cheerful voice reached my ears. Father-in-law and mother-in-law, please take care of me for days. My husband has gone home, but please tell me if you need any help. It's okay, Mary, please relax while you're here. Nancy is here too, so just sit back and relax. Nice to meet you, Nancy. Yes, sister-in-law. What was that cold attitude earlier? Is she a different person? My mother only knows the good side of my sister-in-law's personality. She knows that we don't get along well, but that's it. My father is the same. The relief is that my daughter and nephew seem to be having fun together. If the children and parents can have a good time together, I'll bear the pain of my slightly hurt heart. It's just a good matter of not being alone with her. It's time to eat together, talk together, spend peaceful time, and prepare for bed. My mother told me to turn on the air conditioner in the guest room on the second floor. This room used to be my brother's room, and my brother's family will use it during these 3 nights and for days. The guest room with summer heat is terribly hot. I turned on the air conditioner switch and turned around to go back to the living room while I involuntarily made a strange noise from the entrance of the room. My sister-in-law was peering at me with a mask-like face. Horror! I thought a ghost had come out. I suppressed my pounding heart and spoke to my sister-in-law. What's wrong? Mother-in-law told you to turn on the air conditioner, so I chased after you, saying that I would do it. My parents are kind to her. I can hear my daughter and nephew's happy voices from downstairs. My sister-in-law frowned at those voices. Your daughter plays with my child very well. Yes, we're looking forward to playing together. Oh, could you stop them? What my sister-in-law said in a calm tone. It's bad for education. What, you're threatening me like that right away? That's why high school dropouts are. Wait a minute, what does my education have to do with my daughter? If parents aren't normal, children won't be either. It's a parent's duty to protect their son. It's natural to keep away from things that have a bad influence. What, are you picking a fight? Well, I don't have an education, but where I'm lacking, my parents help me make up for it. Please stop criticizing my daughter by bringing up my shortcomings. Yes, this is why I don't leave home. That's why I've been told behind my back that it's pitiful for children to be single mothers if their parents are high school dropouts. I've even been told directly if it's bad that I'm raising my child alone. How about borrowing my parents' help? If I get help from both parents, wouldn't it be less likely for my daughter to be criticized? Wouldn't it reduce the chances of hurting her? That's why I'm staying at home thinking like this. In fact, my daughter has grown up to be a smart and sensible child under the watchful eyes of me and my parents. Please don't compare me with myself, who was sharp during puberty. Nancy is free to think whatever she wants, but I believe that a parent qualities are inherited by their children. It makes me shudder to think that your lack of qualities might affect my son. Well, I won't tell you not to play in front of my mother-in-law, but please refrain. Hey, that's rude. I don't think so. With a cold tone, my sister-in-law closed the door. I was left behind in a hot and dark room. I was speechless. My sister-in-law has heated up until now. There was only a facade. I never expected her to say something like that to my face. It's not good to involve children in adult matters. I'm angry. The sound of the air conditioner starting up was loud. It hurts the most when someone speaks ill of my daughter. I wiped away my tears along with the sweat on my forehead. The next day after such an incident, my daughter and nephew were playing happily since morning today as well. My sister-in-law occasionally gave me a look as if she wanted to say something, but I ignored it. I don't want to bring adult prejudices into children's lives. I spent the day being careful not to be alone with my sister-in-law. After dinner, when I came out of the bathroom, my sister-in-law was waiting in front of the door. I had been avoiding her all day. She looked at me with bloodshot eyes. Hanging out with her maybe so, but they've been playing together for a while, so it's not like my daughter is a burden to him. It's not that big of a deal. This is why idiot OT are impossible to deal with. I might be an idiot, but my daughter isn't. If the parent is an idiot, then the child must be an idiot too. She's even trying to seduce a boy who's barely out of diapers. What? Seduce? What is this woman talking about? My 6th grade daughter is trying to seduce a 4-year-old boy. What did you see that made you think that? Are you stupid? You're the stupid one. You're a low-educated poor single mother who's gone back home, you're a disgrace to your family. Poor my son started attending a private kindergarten this year. It's an elite kindergarten where children from families of doctors, CEOs, politicians, and such gather. We've created a good environment for our child's education, but if there's trash like you and my husband's family, it's meaningless. So you don't know what real trash is. Sister-in-law, trash refers to that scumbag who got me pregnant and disappeared. You don't know anything about the world. Can you raise a boy with that kind of attitude? Can you handle it when your son calls you a? Are you worried that he'll say something dirty or disgusting when he gets a girlfriend? My son would never say anything like that. I'll make sure to choose his partner carefully. That's scary. Sister-in-law, it'll have a negative impact on the children's growth. What do you know? I've put up with it until now, but I've had enough. I'm cutting ties because idiots are involved. My sister-in-law screamed hysterically. That was when it happened. Have you two finished talking? What? Father appeared behind my sister-in-law. He had a very stern look on his face. I heard everything you two were saying all the way in the living room. The grandchildren are surprised. Ed, why did the conversation turn out like this? Well, my sister-in-law quickly changed her tone of voice, but it was too late to pretend now. I guess it's because I'm a junior high school dropout. If the parent is an idiot, then the child must be an idiot too, so she doesn't want to associate with us anymore. Mary, what do you mean? I don't mean anything like that. I just want my child to play with someone who met her level. Father stared at her. My sister-in-law was flustered. I understand that look in father's eyes. It's scary. I remember being lectured by him with those eyes when I was in my teens, so I know how scary they can be. My sister-in-law quickly strung together words as if trying to cover up. I don't mean to speak ill of my father-in-law and mother-in-law. My father-in-law has been working for a listed company for many years. My mother-in-law has been supporting her family for a long time, and I think they're both wonderful people, but you're willing to speak ill of my daughter and granddaughter. Nancy is poor and uneducated and has fallen behind. My sister-in-law concluded she has bad behavior. She dropped out of school. She's stupid. In other words, she's the embodiment of evil. That's why I don't want my son playing with her anymore. That's all there is to it. It's true that when I was an adolescent, I was a twisted girl who didn't listen to my parents' warnings or teachers' advice, and it's true that I'm pregnant and a married single mother. I think it's natural for my brother-in-law's wife, who has lived her life as an honors student, to dislike me even if she doesn't like me, but even so her thinking is too rigid. Prejudice against single mothers and junior high school dropouts aside, parents decide their children's dating partners. This person is just a monster. We may have been wrong not explaining things properly to them. Even so, father spoke up. Don't you know my daughter isn't poor? She started her own company and is making a profit. How? I'm the president. What? Yes, my father was right. I run a web-related company. It all started when my daughter was little and started working as a web designer from home. I had never studied hard before, so it was tough, but I got through it with my rebellious spirit. I started by looking for one-time jobs, then moved up to contract employees and full-time employees. When my daughter entered elementary school, I started my own company. Although it was tough, the company has been growing steadily and now has an annual revenue of $150,000. The company is still growing, so if I want to leave home, I can do so at any time. I'm not poor at all. There's also some information that I need to add to what she said. I also lent my brother the money he needed to start his business. It's better than borrowing from a bank, isn't it? Haven't you heard about it from your brother? I don't know anything about work. What? Your family, right? You're self-employed, so you should know something. You're annoying. I'm busy with my son's education. He has lessons every day, musicals and art museums with exhibitions every time. It's an education in aesthetics. Nancy has never been to an art museum before. I don't go to every exhibition. I go once a semester with the Board of Education. Oh, Nancy is being called out. How sad. It's already incoherent, but my sister-in-law still bites on my words. Enough already. Don't you understand how it feels to have your own child insulted? My father's angry voice rang out. My sister-in-law looked like she regretted what she had done. Did she forget that my father was my parent? Until now, students wouldn't be called out by the Board of Education. I went to the Board of Education with a petition a few years ago, a petition asking for obstetricians and gynecologists to teach at junior high schools. I went there to say that I regretted being ignorant. I went there to ask for an education that would prevent current students from making the same mistakes. As a result, I'm doing various things like being an organizer for special classes. My sister-in-law looked surprised when she heard this. I made peace signs with both hands towards her. You're misunderstanding me, big sister. I may be an idiot who dropped out of school, but I haven't done anything. Don't talk about housewives like they're villains. We weren't even talking about that. My sister-in-law bit her lip and glared at me with a twisted face. I'll be leaving now. She spat out those words and passed by my father, picking up my nephew who was in the living room. Then my nephew said in an angry tone, "Mommy, I heard what you were saying," and my big sister cried. She cried because she said that if she played with me she would become stupid. You shouldn't use a stupid as a bad word. That's what the kindergarten teacher said. Mommy, say sorry. Shut up, be quiet, we're leaving. My sister-in-law grabbed only my nephew and her wallet and ran out. I hugged my daughter who was crying in the corner of the living room. I'm sorry, it was scary and unpleasant for you. It's okay now. Your mother is used to this kind of thing, but you don't deserve to be treated like that. It's just a false accusation. What do you mean by used to this? I'm crying because I'm frustrated. I won't forgive anyone who says such things about my wonderful mother. I was surprised when I heard why she was crying. Was she crying for me, or because she was frustrated? She feels like a daughter who won't give up easily. No more than that. I felt that she had grown up well. Thank you. I hugged her tightly with all my might. Later on, my brother came over. He came to collect his wife's belongings and apologize. Well, both my parents and I had already cooled down by then because I had said too much and my father had shouted without being calm to what happened to Mary. Afterwards, my brother made a difficult face at mother's question. She's excited about something. She seems to have a strange confidence that if Nancy can be president, then she can do it too. She's excited about starting her own company. I see. And what about that stubborn and overbearing personality? I knew she was putting a lot of effort into education, but I never thought she would have such an idea. It's like an elitist mindset or discriminatory. We talk about our son's educational policy. I want to let him do what he's interested in freely rather than managing him tightly. My wife is the opposite and insists that parents should choose and give everything, so we fight every time. Oh my, well, that's right. I worry about the future of my brother's family. In the meantime, only my daughter was angry and consistently ignored my brother, and then she ate the sweets that my brother brought with her. After eating a lot of sweets, my daughter finally came out to see off my brother. After seeing off my brother, I asked my daughter, "Are you feeling better?" Your uncle was pitiful with that attitude, Mom. I'm thinking too. Really, Uncle came to apologize. If he had been forgiven from the beginning, it would have been uncomfortable. Someone has to make a pose like I'm angry, but I'll forgive you to make it easier for him. Did you really think about that? Oh, my daughter was more mature than I thought. Children grow up like this without us knowing it. 3 years later, my daughter became a third-year junior high school student. She decided to enter high school by recommendation. I was relieved that she would walk a different path from me. I don't think being a high school dropout is bad, but I don't want her to go through the same hardships as me. As for my sister-in-law's future, she started her own business as reported by my brother. She opened a miscellaneous goods store dealing with imported goods using her English skills from studying abroad. She was eager not to lose to me, but in conclusion it was a big failure. As expected, there were misunderstandings with suppliers and frequent troubles. It was also bad to rent a large rental store in a good location just for show. My brother helped as much as possible, but the store closed with a deficit. She couldn't accept failure and returned to her parents' home and became a recluse. My brother seemed to think it was good that he failed. He hoped his perspective would broaden, but it didn't work out. Apparently, she said all the failures of the business were blamed on me and my brother. Currently, my brother and his wife are in divorce mediation. My brother and nephew will come home next weekend. At that time, I plan to invite them to our house instead of our parents' house. I've been letting them stay at home for the sake of their children. As a result, my daughter has grown up more firmly than I thought. She's a good girl who won't be embarrassed anywhere. My daughter has grown so much. I have to focus on something other than raising children in the future. My parents will also get older. They may need help. Since graduating from junior high school, I've been relying on my parents all along. This time I'll do my best to help my parents so they can rely on me instead.